Do you ever get an intuition to do something, but you don't follow it because the instruction just doesn't seem to make any sense? Guess what? Sometimes when we receive an inner guidance, it doesn't make any sense until after we've already followed through with it. A few weeks ago, I was setting up an easel and a pad for a presentation that I was doing when I realized I'd forgotten something. I called out, "Does anyone have a marker?" My partner Mark started laughing and he said, "Oh shoot, this morning on my way out the door, I was guided to pick up a marker, but I thought, why would I need that?" Here's the thing about guidance. We're all in it together. You, me, your friends, my friends, people you know, people you don't know, people who are like you, people who are nothing like you. There is just one big universal us. Source does not differentiate. So what this sometimes means is that you may be called upon to do something that you have no clue about until it's done. A story was shared with me a few years ago about a man who was driving on his way home from work, and he received the guidance to stop at the store. He stopped at the store and he heard, "Go in and buy a gallon of milk." So he followed this instruction and he bought the milk. Then he was guided to get back in his car and turn here, turn there, turn here, until he arrived in front of an apartment building. He was guided to go into this specific apartment building, and he could hear sounds when he got to the door, a baby crying, a couple arguing. Now, the entire time he's following his guidance, he's thinking, "Really? Are you sure? Do I have to do this? Okay." So here he is standing in front of this stranger's door, and the last thing in the world he wants to do is knock on the door. Of course, his guidance says, knock. He knocks on the door, and at first no one answers. He's guided to knock again. He keeps knocking, and eventually the door is opened with a man opening the door and a woman standing in the background, rocking a crying baby, and he hands over this gallon of milk. The mother begins sobbing, "Thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God." As it turns out, they had been out of money and arguing about how to get the baby some milk, and she had been praying for a miracle for her baby. This is one of my favorite prayer answered stories. It's a random act of guidance that someone follows, and I love this one for several reasons because first of all, what is just a small $3 gallon of milk to one person is an absolute miracle to another. If you're thinking about following your guidance, some people get worried about, the stories that they've heard about the crazy Kool-Aid cult and things like that. They think that they're going to be drawn into something that is not okay for them if they follow a guidance that doesn't make sense. When you're not sure about where your guidance is coming from, you can ask yourself, is this voice coming from loving? And is this harming none? So this is how you can decide to follow a divine guidance or not. A loving guidance is always going to come from peace and love and support you to act with love in your highest good. A fear-based guidance, an ego-based guidance that is guiding you to act off course is an indication of just a huge lack of discernment. And you don't have to worry about that if you're tuned in to your inner guidance system. So put your trust in your highest self. Put your trust in your soul. Put your trust in your connection to loving Source, God. And as you follow your loving guidance, more and more, you will begin to participate in creating miracles daily. Action step. Claim that your guidance does not always have to make sense. Declare, I now follow my loving guidance, even if it doesn't make sense to me in the moment. God's hands are my hands. My soul knows the bigger picture, and it's safe for me to trust in the will of my soul. Many blessings of joy and vibrant freedom.